Hi everyone. Um, the reason why the video looks like this is because it's daytime right now and it has rained outside, and so the sky is very gray, but the light of the sun still shines through the clouds, so it's like this whitish light. And so that comes from my window, and that's why it gives this appearance, which I think is quite interesting. So here we are in this moment that's unique, this moment that is never going to happen again. Right here is where we are. And right now I have some realizations to share as part of my own, that comes from my own personal process that I've been walking. And here I'm looking at deep dimensions of human nature. So what I'm talking about is going to relate to all of us, and I am seeing within myself, however, first. Then bringing that out there, here for you all to benefit from, to learn. Because when I bring this from myself, I can see then how it exists in everyone. It's funny how that works is that when you refuse to look at who you are, then you actually don't see the very obvious that's here within everyone. That's your reality. You're not able to connect the dots, just like in a little drawing book where you have the dots and you connect the dots. You're not able to see that if you're not able to see the dots, the points within themselves. Okay, so let's start. So within myself, I've been looking at this point where of like shame, embarrassment, guilt, and it is a point of inferiority, it is a point of control where we are trying to control each other. And this happens firstly through parents, and then of course by other adults that the children are interacted with, where we try to use guilt to get someone to change, to be a good person. Now this I've talked about in previous videos recently, but looking deeper into this, there's like this point of anger that we all have, where when we look at someone doing something abusive, let's say you see animal abuse, you feel anger, right? You hate the person. You see someone, factory farming, you see all the animals being how they're treated within farms, you feel anger, and you want to become a vegan. Or you see war, and you see people profiting from war, businesses, corporations making lots of money from war, you feel angry and hate those people. Or Trump supporters, whatever, or Hillary supporters, you hate those people, either or you hate whoever, you see a psychotic person shoot some people, right? You hate that person, or you hate this, you hate that, you feel anger towards this, towards that, towards religions, you hate Christians, or you hate Muslims, or you hate Jews, or you hate atheists, or you hate whoever. So find something that you hate, you have anger towards. And it can be something that is totally justifiable for you, like let's say animal abuse, or children abuse, whatever. What is actually happening in that moment is you're attempting to control the other person, to get them to feel shameful, to feel regret, to feel something where because you're angry at them, they will change. Now this seems like perhaps no big deal, like, what's the big deal about that? Of course, that happens all the time. But if you really look deeper into this point, you're trying to get someone else to change who they are through you being angry, getting them to feel guilty and shameful, and simply change because you feel angry at them. Not because of common sense, not because of understanding, not because of principles, of life, nothing of that. Just purely because you're angry. That's it. So how many times throughout our life, throughout our days, do we do this? And when we accept and allow this point, we actually accept and allow it for ourselves. Where we will again, if someone gets angry at us, we will change. We will fall because they are angry at us. And you have to realize that when you have this expectation, you have the system of, okay, I'm going to change other people by being angry at them. Of course, you're going to follow the same suits. If someone gets angry at you, you're going to change as well. And we just accept this, and we call this moral. I mean, it's really such a limited way of living, and it's really this point of abuse that we're doing, like trying to change abuse with abuse, trying to control, trying to possess reality, trying to have our way, but within that opening ourselves to the same abuse. And what I found as a point for myself is how when I try to really stand as who I am in this reality, that I face resistance, I face anger, I face people being angry at me, and I realize that it's impossible for me to stand within this point unless I'm able actually to face their anger. And the solution I found was really to make that absolute statement that this is who I am. That even if it comes a point of, if someone were to be okay, well, and just like the only examples I found in reality was like, I guess kind of like a martyr, where even people like with Martin Luther King, with Gandhi, where they stand by the principles no matter what until their death, and they both got assassinated. And it's really that point where if someone were to, okay, like, you have to change who you are, you cannot be who you are, you cannot be this way. If you are going to continue being this way, I'm going to torture you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do all these things to you. You know, all these threats, all these threats to your body. And for me, the only point I can see that I can stand in is within just, yeah, I'm going to stand like that. I'm not going to be moved by your threats at all. And that's the only place where I can see life can continue. It's really that absolute point. And, you know, this is kind of like a symbolic point where obviously you could lie, you can, you know, do stuff like out of situation, etc. But really when it comes down to like a really self-honest point where someone in your life, you know, you're being honest with them. This is who I am. And if they respond in that way, that they're not going to support you, they're going to leave you, that who you are, you're going to stand anyway. That's not going to move you at all. I mean, that's the point where symbolically that, yeah, you will stand like that. That you would face torture, you would face death. Because you're not changing who you are. That's going to stay no matter what. And, yeah. And then when you put it into that terms, then you look now at guilt and shame and points of control. All these points are threats. They're threats to another person. When you go to another person, you're angry at them, you are threatening them. You're basically putting this point, okay, well, I'm threatening you, you have to change. And that's what guilt is, that's what shame is. It's a threat to a person. And this is perhaps not a dimension we really look at and consider that we suppress, all of us. But if you really look at it and look at how we act as human beings, when it comes to people who stand, we become threatening. We threaten them. We try to be violent towards them. And you see this everywhere. With anyone who stands. Like if you have a child who absolutely stands on their point, and they do not move whatsoever, parents will have to threaten them. And of course they have to, but really do they have to? They will threaten them to make them change. And when we realize that point where what we're really doing towards each other, then we realize that, okay, well, we have to actually treat ourselves how we like to be treated. To actually care, to actually support, to actually walk within patience, within understanding. And then, I mean, for me personally, I'd walk with a person infinitely so, forever, if that's what it takes to support them. Because in reality, anything else, forcing, coercion, manipulation, that's not really a person changing. That's not really a person understanding. That's not really a person growing. It's not. That is what it is: manipulation, coercion, forcing, control. And so, I mean, when you have a choice between either walking with someone infinitely to support them, or in 5 minutes you can force them, manipulate them, realizing that it's threatening them, you're threatening them. For me, like, the choice is clear. It's better to walk infinitely so with the person to support them than having to do that. Because you're just wasting your time. Those 5 minutes of your time you're wasting. So, I mean, this is what I see when people get angry now. For any reason. Even if they say it's a justified cause. For veganism, or for vegetarianism, or for peace, people get angry, or for war. For anything, a religion, idea, motivation, group, whenever there's anger towards anything, towards an idea, that what I see there is a point of trying to manipulate through making the other person feel shameful, feel guilty, to break them, to get them to basically be under your control, so to fit your idea, and that's through threats. I mean, instead of, you could actually, within that same breath voice that you use with an anger, look at how you can support. Look at how you can walk with. I mean, when you start realizing that people on this earth, they're people. And so when you see someone, you get angry at them for how they are. I mean, when you realize that a person, realize that you could actually walk with them. I mean, yes, they could be how they are, but you can walk with them and support them. That's possible, that's here. So why would you get angry? Anger is quite a selfish thing. You look at it. It's for you, it's not for them. And it's really a point of that separation right there, because you don't even see them how they are right here as a person. Yes, who they are may be a problem for themselves and for others. But are you going to be a problem? Or are you going to be a solution? And for me, this is what I found as a point of liberation, as a point of freedom, where to actually stand as that, to assist and support another, to actually stand as who you are, even though people may threaten you, even though you may be threatened against your life. You know who you are and you're standing. And that's really the greatest gift you can give yourself. And for me, this is something that I just, overnight done. It's something that I've been walking for a long time. You could say my whole life, because of everything I lived for, everything I lived through. I walked through experiences. I had questions. I looked for answers. And for me, for me, there is no other way. Because otherwise, what's the point, really? To live isolated in our separate bubbles, within our minds, not really being here with people, not really seeing who they are, and seeing who you are. It's always an equal point where you can only see another person as far as you can see yourself. If you cannot see yourself, you cannot really see another person. That's kind of because you're looking at the same eyes. It's the same eyes that are looking at yourself or another person. So it's really to clear your eyes and see with real eyes and realize what's going on. Okay, so thank you very much. That's my realizations for today.